So, what's next? We have a guest from Israel, Itamar Meridor with Citytransformers. Itamar, can you hear us? I can see you, Itamar.
Meridor with
Citytransformers. Thank you so much for joining our call.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, definitely. Where are you located right now?
I think I'm in a spaceship. At least it looks like that. But,
what is it? Is it like a graffiti in the background, or what is it?
it is. Just a second. I think that everything is double.
Yeah.
Just a second.
Mm-hmm. No, but
can you hear me well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah. I think I'm going to need to connect again because I hear everything twice. So yes. I think I'm connected on two.
No worries. Just reboot your computer or your app.
I'll be with you in a minute.
Yes, no problem. Also ich kann euch was erzählen schon mal ein bisschen über Citytransformer. Habe ich kennengelernt unter anderem in Berlin bei dieser einen großen Show da, die wir alle gut kennen, bei der wir nicht wissen, wie es weitergeht. Jetzt ist auch noch der BSH-Chef irgendwie raus und die ganze Branche macht Fragezeichen und so. And I met Itamar's boss, Annette, at this conference, and they were actually showing a very interesting mobility concept. And I believe, as far as I remember, they have a production line in Munich, but we have to double check with them.
Okay.
So
hello again.
Yes. Can you hear us, Itamar?
I can hear you well, and yeah.
I just mentioned that I met I think your boss Annette in Berlin just recently at the big consumer electronics show in Berlin, the IFA. And they were awarded with the first prize for mobility solution innovations. And so I thought that might be a nice fit for us. And you're here on stage today to present your project.
Great. So I'm very happy to be here and sorry for the short delay. Indeed, we were at the IFA, at the Shift Mobility event, where there was the Mind Shifter competition for different startups coming from not only focused on automotive, but from different flavors and different industries and different takes on shaping future mobility and future infrastructures and others, and where we also won the first prize. That's correct. I'm happy to share with you what we're all about at Citytransformer. If that's a good platform, I'm happy to do that.
Yes. Do you have a presentation to share?
I do.
Yes. So go ahead, please.
Is it okay to start by watching a video and then like a
sure,
1.5 minute video and then a short presentation?
Absolutely, Itamar.
I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully it's going to work well. Just let me know. Okay. So can you see my screen? It's all well?
Yes.
Is the video running?
We see a green. We don't see the video yet, actually.
Okay, so just a second. Okay. Are we good now?
We don't have a visual yet. Now we see a gray screen.
Okay. We'll give it another go, and if it won't work, I will just share the presentation. Just one more second. Okay. Are we on now?
We have sound, but we don't have a visual, sorry. So we had a brief second with the video.
Okay. So I think the video may not be working well, and maybe I'll start with the presentation.
Just go ahead with the
and then we'll give it
presentation.
another go at the
Yes.
end.
No worries.
Okay. So, okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. So this is us at Citytransformer, and I'm very happy to be here with you today. I'm a business development and marketing manager. Have been working at the startup, at this wonderful startup, and sharing this wonderful experience for the last 5 years. And in a startup life, it's quite a lot of time, as you can guess. And what you see in the picture in front of you says a lot about what we try to do with this vehicle, with the Citytransformer. Of course, it's the vehicle you would see the red vehicle you would see to the right side. The Citytransformer vehicle is all about bringing the best out of urban mobility into the real needs and the reality of today's cities. Because it's obvious for all of us that the solutions that we use today for private mobility inside cities, mostly our cars, as you see this nice BMW X1 in the picture, they become more and more irrelevant to our daily commute. And I know this is the reality that I experience living in Tel Aviv. I know that in more and more places around the world, it's becoming the reality. Our cars just doesn't deliver our daily needs in terms of commuting. They are blocking the city. We spend lots of time stuck in traffic. We spend lots of time looking for parking. And while we do all of that, usually we carry around with us 1.2 or 1.8 maybe tons of weight that are unnecessary to most of urban rides, most of our daily commute. So the vehicle that you see here, the Citytransformer, the City One in this case, is coming to bring the same kind of experience, comfort, safety on the road, performance, being surrounded with technology, having a high-end feeling in a size that is relevant to today's city. That's all. So as I spoke about, the big problem, so to speak, of course, urban migration is just growing. Our cities are becoming more and more dense. The space for roads is still very limited, and we get these traffic jam cities ending up looking for parking endlessly. The solutions in terms of private mobility are, of course, our own private cars, where we waste the time. It's a big cause of pollution. We waste lots of money, by the way, and when you look, of course, at the bigger picture, looking at the money, at the funds that are being wasted, in terms of country, when you look on the bigger picture of the city, how much it really costs to an industry or to a certain country, how much money is being wasted while we are, as individual users or individual people, standing in traffic. So these are some of the data. And of course, it's also the city space that is being occupied. We have on one of our other presentation, a picture of the city of Detroit through the years, and you can see how more and more of the city space is being occupied to roads, parking lots, and everything surrounding the road. So why not use all this space for other means? Now, the alternative that is existing today in terms of personal mobility, of course, the micro-mobility solutions. And these have recently boomed in the last 10 years. As we all know, we see them all over, whether it's e-scooters, whether it's e-bikes. They have great advantages. They are very flexible. You can kind of take them anywhere, leave them anywhere. But they have major disadvantages as well. And of course, you are exposed to street pollution. As they say, you either get wet or sweat, whether it's a rainy day or it's a hot summery day. They are of inequitable access, which means that not everyone can use them. They are not built for anyone, whether it's different physical conditions, age restrictions, or others. And more than all, your statistics show that you are 18 times more likely to suffer from a fatal accident once you use one of those comparing to a passenger car. So at Citytransformer, we thought, what if there was a new win-win alternative that kind of brings the benefit of being comfortable, surrounded with technology, safe, convenient on the road, like a car, like our favorite SUV, and at the same time bringing the advantages of being flexible, being dynamic, being able to find parking like a two-wheeler. So meet the Citytransformer. We call it the 1+ companion. And why 1+? Because statistics shows that 85% of urban rides today are performed by one person. For me, this is the reality that I see when I do my daily commute to work. It's very obvious. We are all sitting, one person in the car. We take a 5-seater with us. We stand frustrated in traffic. And when I do my way back home to central Tel Aviv, I end up circling the block for 45 minutes and find parking 20 minutes walk away. I know that Tel Aviv is a bit extreme, but I think you can relate to what I'm saying if you live in urban areas. So with the Citytransformer, and as you can see in the illustration here, we have a folding and expansion mechanism of the platform of the vehicle that actually can allow you to ride like a car when you need it safely and comfortably, and when you need park and outsmart traffic like a motorcycle. A little bit of the stats. How does that happen? First of all, the vehicle is very lightweight. It weighs only 450 kg before the battery weight, which means that it has 75% less battery weight compared to an average EV. Usually in electric vehicles, much of the mass of the weight that you carry with you is for the battery pack. So we say, why not really use what you really need for your daily commute, which is anyway most of urban rides, most of our daily activity. Now it's 2 times more energetically efficient due to being very lightweight. And due to the electric motors we have, it's hub motors, by the way, they are inside the wheel. The vehicle, as I mentioned, has the ability to change its dimensions on the go. So on what we call the city mode, which is the narrow mode, you're only 1 meter wide, which is in many places a legal parking spot of a motorcycle, and actually big motorcycles they usually get to this size, to this width. I want to show you in a picture. This is, by the way, was taken in Mannheim because part of my activity and what we do, we use these vehicles that we produce. These, by the way, have been produced in Bavaria. The company was established. I'll give you a big background. The company was established in 2014. For 6 years, we developed only the mechanical engineering patents in Israel, different technological demonstrators, until we find and patented the right mechanisms in place and went to produce these in Bavaria with Roding Automobile, which were our partners for this phase. We produced a few units that got the road regulation. As you can see, we have a German license plate, which for us was a critical step to showcase really a vehicle that can change its dimensions on the go and be regulated. As you can see in the picture, 75% less or saving in parking space and costs. And if you look at the personal or the end user perspective, you get 10 times better chance to find the parking while you're using one of these comparing to a conventional family car. We actually made the research in Tel Aviv. We went with a stick, which is the 1 meter width plus the 50 centimeters for easy access, easy going in and out of the vehicle. And we mapped 20 of the busiest streets at different times of the day. And we made the survey and we find that you have 10 times better chance, around 10 times better chance to find parking when you use one of those. Talking about sustainability. So as we see it, of course, there are the internal combustion engine cars. Then came the hybrids, the electric vehicles. But we say it's not enough to be electric. Because if you would take a picture, whether if it's the city of Tel Aviv or Munich or Berlin or Paris or wherever it may be, even if you take a picture from above in 10 years from now, and it's all going to be Tesla and Hyundai Ioniq i5 and all electric, you will still have the same conditions, probably even worse, by the way, because cities are just becoming more and more dense. So we didn't do too much. It's true that we moved the pollution outside of the city center, which is great by being electric, but it's not enough. And it doesn't provide and it doesn't go along with more and more cities and countries that are actually banning the entrance of cars to city center. So, or limiting those. And we see this to happen more and more in the coming years. So by saving weight, by saving on footprint, actually 1 meter on 2.5 meters, which is kind of 25% of the footprint of a conventional car, saving on battery weight, and being more energetically efficient. This is radical sustainability. And we know that many companies, they say that, okay, we're going to do 3 or 5% of recycled fishing nets in our dashboard. And this is our position in terms of sustainability. And we completely support that, and we are planning to do the same. But at the same time, we see that if you really look at sustainability, why not look at what we really need in order to provide us with our daily commute, with our most of the usage that we have in terms of mobility, and not use what we really can, which is usually the big SUVs or the big cars. Yeah. A little bit about the reactions and our history so far. So we revealed, or we globally launched our vehicles at the IAA Mobility in Munich last September. It was a very successful launch. And one of the critical things was that not only that we were covered by the media, there was more than 1,200 different articles about us worldwide. It's not only that the Channel 1, I'm not sure if it is Channel 1 in Germany, but something parallel to the Channel 1 in Israel. I know that when they covered us in Germany, in the main newscast, when they covered the IAA Mobility, they showed us on the first day, and they showed the BMW new concept car. And they said, this is how a city car should look like, and this is how a city car shouldn't look like. For us, more than that, it was critical to get the feedback from people, and we could really understand and really see that there's a shift in people's mind to really prioritize to what will affect their daily life, and not only stay with the same that is, of course, beautiful technology all over the place with the new cars that the big OEMs reveal. And we always appreciate those. These are always masterpieces, but at the same time, they don't cut to the chase. They don't cut to the problem. I won't expand too much here. This vehicle has been recently very well awarded, as you mentioned, the Shift Mobility as well. The German Innovation Award, we won gold just a few months ago, the European Product Design Award, and the ABC Mobility, also a German award for design and innovation, as well as the Core 77 US, very prestigious design award in the US. I don't want to go too much into details because I want to have time for questions. I will just touch upon 2 more things. So one is, again, what we wanted to bring here is actually to bring the same M1 or family car comfortable experience in a size that is relevant to today's city. Actually, 4 Citytransformers can park in 1 parking spot. Now, our approach is actually to bridge the gap in between cars and L7Es, because L7 is, by the way, the quadricycle category, as I mentioned, limited to 450 kg, fully electric. Because we know that people like to maintain the same kind of technology and safety, but they don't want to compromise on the user experience. So we provide them with a high-end user experience wrapped in a city-sized body vehicle. I will go a little bit to expand about our strategy in terms of B2C and B2B. So this vehicle is a born-to-share vehicle. And we, in terms of our own internal strategy, we're aiming for 80% of the production volume to go to sharing fleets, to micro-mobility solution providers, to other kind of fleets like residential complexes who will be able to have a mobility kind of demand service that will really impact the tenants, and they will be able to enjoy a mobility on demand service, and everyone will benefit from that. On the B2C side, we want to provide also to those who would like to have this vehicle for their private usage, and we accept pre-orders for that for now. I think I would like also to know from you, as for the time that we have left, and then. So,
Itamar, we have about 10 minutes for Q&A. So Thank you very much for your insight. And as you mentioned earlier, so Israel is known for all sorts of things in technology, specifically cybersecurity, not for cars. So this is a really, really great appreciation that you received from all the media and especially the prizes that you won. So what's basically your background and what is your story? You started in 2014, you mentioned. So are you an engineer in the mobility field or you're a mobility startup? I understood that. Any other links?
We are a mobility startup. Myself, I come with a background of strategy, marketing, and sales. But the background of the company was actually the two of the co-founders were doing their PhD in mechanical engineering at the time.
Annette is one of those. Annette is one of those people?
Annette isn't one of those. She has a huge part in the mobility, the Israeli mobility ecosystem due to her previous roles. And she is now the VP of our business development. But two of our co-founders, they were doing their PhD in mechanical engineering and were actually moving to Tel Aviv. And they started facing the horrible traffic condition and the horrible parking situation in Tel Aviv. And they started rolling ideas, how can we come up with a solution for that? Now, the conditions were, it has to be homologated. So it has to be something that will be practical and will be able to actually serve end users all over the world. And it has to be sustainable. So they started rolling the ideas. They came up with a folding and expansion mechanism of the platform of the vehicle, which is our own patent. And then for 6 years, again, the development was only done in Israel, different prototypes, of course, lots of hours in the garage, lots of hours of mechanical engineering and bringing the minds together to come up with the right solution. By the way, along the way, 2016, we met with Professor Johan Tomforde. He's the man behind the smart car, Mercedes, Daimler and Swatch kind of co-branded smart car. He was an executive in Daimler for over 30 years. And only when he came to the right position in Daimler, he could undertake the project that he envisioned already as a student with the smart. And when he met us in 2016, he said, this is something closer to what I really wanted to make with the smart car. And since then, him and his company are part of our journey. He was doing some of the ergonomic and supervising the design of his vehicles.
Okay, that's it. Wolfgang.
Yeah. You just mentioned the smart car. So you're aware that there are ideas of small cars in Europe since quite a while. So it's not very recent, this idea. But I think all the solutions that exist up to now obviously think that it takes at least 2 seats for 2 persons in a car. Do you think there's a market opportunity for a car that can only carry 1 person?
I will just correct this mistake, and if I would get the chance to properly share the video, you would see that, but the vehicle is a 2-seater actually. So you have 1 seat, they are just one behind the other. What is called tandem seating. And actually, surprisingly, even though it's only 1 meter wide, when you have the person sitting in the middle, you feel very spacious. You have really good space around you. It's not a feeling of being closed in a small package or a small tight box, so to speak. So you get quite a spacious feeling. And this was also, again, some of the complexity of the ergonomics world around such a small vehicle. So again, the cabin stays as it is. The platform is the one that expands and shrinks back according to your needs. It happens automatically while you drive. In the production series that will start with the serial production at the end of 2024, it's going to happen autonomously. For now, it's being done with the push of a button on the steering wheel. The vehicle lets you know when is a good time to open up, when you want to speed up, basically. Because again, the idea here is to provide the extra stability and safety on the road. So when you expand the platform, you have better proportions or wider proportions. You can speed up to 90 kilometers an hour, which is more than enough for what you usually need in the urban environment.
Bertie, I'm sure you have a question for Itamar. I thought he was in the call. Oh, sorry. I was expecting another journalist in the call. So I'll wrap up in terms of like parking situations, because you mentioned Tel Aviv is a terrible place to park. You live in Hamburg. It's pretty bad there as well. So where do you see the key markets for the product?
Definitely starting with Western Europe. And we are now again working on the serial production that should take place in Europe. We partnered with a big engineering company called Segula Technologies. They have their French but also headquarters in Germany. And part of the work that we do with them is all the preparation for the serial production. We want the product to be on the higher end because we want people to have a comfortable transition to actually have them give up on some of their private cars usage for a shared solution or for the private consumer. So whether it's Germany, Italy, France, Spain, the Netherlands, UK, Denmark, Switzerland, these are our first go-to markets. Part of our activity is also to meet with municipalities and understand their mobility challenges. And this is, like I shared the picture in Mannheim. We do roadshows with these vehicles. We meet clients. We met with the municipality of Berlin, Munich, Regensburg, Mannheim, Heilbronn. These are just in Germany. Next week, we will be in a Salon d'Automobile in Paris Motor Show. So if anyone is there, you're welcome to meet us there. And basically to understand the mobility needs of the city and work with them towards a better solution.
Interesting to hear.
Yeah. Do you have already some ideas about pricing?
Yeah. It's a great question.
Okay.
Yeah, the official price of the vehicle is 16,000 euros. It's before tax. And for people who pre-order now, for now it is still on a discounted promotion kind of for a limited time for 12,500. So if you pre-order for a deposit of 150 euros, you have kind of this discounted price for a limited time. But 16,000 would be the base price, and of course, in different locations, there are different incentives coming from the government to support with the transition to electric vehicles and to small mobility, especially.
You mentioned Bavaria quite often in your presentation. So how close are the ties to the Stuttgart area? This is where we are actually at. There's car makers here as well, as you know. So
some.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, I cannot elaborate too much. I think part of the partnership or Professor Tom Ford being an executive consultant in our company and with his company called Team Mobility. So part of the work is also being done there and with the network that he has over there and we share together over there.
So you guys are talking. That's the bottom line, right?
No.
But you know each other. Really, you're connected on LinkedIn or other platforms.
You mean to Professor Tom Ford?
No, just to the folks out here in Stuttgart.
I mean, there are always opportunities coming up, and we're always...
Good answer. Good answer. Yeah. Okay.
Good consultation with the different companies around.
Wolfgang, you have a last question, a short question for Itamar.
Yeah, maybe. When will your regular distribution start? What do you expect?
So we're going to have a pilot series at the end of next year, so Q4 2023. It's going to be a pilot series for the bigger B2B or business clients. We're talking to the biggest car sharing company in Europe as well. And start of serial production will be in Q4 2024, and then we will start delivering vehicles both to private customers who pre-ordered and to the major business clients first.
Okay. So, again, thank you so much for being with us today. Say hi to Annette and Hila. And
sure, I will.
Good luck for the Paris Auto Show. There's still trade shows going on. That's great to hear. There's a lot of bad things happening to the trade show industry. So overall, good luck for La Mondiale in Paris. And we hope to see you soon next year at IFA maybe or other places.
Sure.
Keep in touch.
Soon.
Itamar.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Sure.
Bye.
Bei uns geht's weiter mit einer kleinen Pause, Umbaupause. Dann haben wir einen lokalen IT-Unternehmer hier, den Jörg Walden. Wir freuen uns sehr darauf. Und heute Abend ist Community Night im Innoport, 18 Uhr. Wer Lust und Zeit hat zu kommen, kann sich gerne über die Innoport-Seite noch anmelden. Ciao, bis gleich.